I used your academic savings for my dream dwelling. Evelyn's voice dripped with satisfaction through my phone speaker. You're never going back to finish your degree anyway. Time to grow up and face reality. I gripped my kitchen counter, feeling the cool granite under my fingers as I processed her words. The $800,000 advanced learning fund my benefactors had left me, gone, or so she thought. Interesting, I replied, my voice steady. And how exactly did you manage that? My name is Anya Petrova, and at 32, I'd spent the last decade working as a financial analyst while slowly building my way toward a dream of finishing my veterinary degree. What my sister-in-law Evelyn didn't know was that I'd been expecting this move ever since she married my brother, Dmitri, 3 months ago. Oh, it was easy, she laughed, clearly disappointed by my calm reaction. Dmitri still had access to the account from when your benefactors first set it up. All I needed was his signature. The dwelling is gorgeous, by the way. Much better use of the money than some silly dream of becoming a healer. I could picture her smug expression, probably admiring her reflection in one of her oversized designer mirrors. Evelyn had swept into our lives like a cyclone 6 months ago, convincing my brother she was his soulmate after just 2 weeks of dating. I'd seen right through her act, but Dmitri was too enchanted to listen. Well, thanks for letting me know, I said, opening my laptop. I hope you enjoy the dwelling. That's it? Evelyn's voice rose with frustration. No crying? No begging? Come on, Anya, where's the drama? I ended the call without responding and pulled up my email. There it was, the confirmation I'd been waiting for from my solicitor. The transfer Evelyn and Dmitri had attempted had been blocked. The funds already moved to a new secure account 2 weeks ago. My benefactor had always said, trust your instincts, but verify your accounts. She'd built her own financial firm from nothing, teaching me everything she knew about protecting assets before she passed. When Evelyn started asking suspiciously detailed questions about my advanced learning fund at Sunday dinners, I knew it was time to put those lessons to use. I dialed my solicitor's number, my hand steady despite the anger still simmering beneath the surface. Hi, Ingrid. I just got the call we were expecting. Has everything been documented? Every attempt they made to access the account has been recorded, Ingrid confirmed. The timestamps, the forged documents. Everything. Your brother's signature appears to have been coerced. Do you want to proceed with pressing charges? I thought about Dmitri, my sweet but naive older brother. He'd always protected me growing up, standing up to bullies and helping me through our parents' messy separation. Now, he was married to someone who made those schoolyard bullies look like amateurs. Not yet, I replied. Let's wait for them to realize the transfer failed. I want to see what Evelyn does next. After hanging up, I walked to my home office and opened the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet. Inside was a thick folder labeled Benefactor's Letters. I pulled out the most recent one, written just weeks before she passed away 2 years ago. My dearest Anya, it read, I'm leaving you this money because I believe in your dream. Healing isn't just a career for you, it's a calling. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late or too hard, and most importantly, don't let anyone take this opportunity from you. You're smarter than they think. Love, Benefactor. I traced her signature with my finger, remembering how she taught me to analyze handwriting patterns when I was just 12. That knowledge had helped me spot the inconsistencies in Dmitri's signature on the transfer documents Evelyn had submitted. My phone buzzed again, a text from Dmitri. Hey sis, Evelyn's really excited about the dwelling we're acquiring. I know the money was for your school, but you've got a good job already. Family should help family, right? I felt a familiar ache in my chest. Dmitri had always been terrible with money, jumping from one get-rich-quick scheme to another.
Hello. Thanks for watching and being part of this journey. If you enjoy story like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world. Now let's dive into the story.
Evelyn had clearly figured that out within days of meeting him. Another text came through. The property vendor needs money by Friday. You're not mad, are you? I started typing a response, then deleted it. Let them figure out on their own that their plan had failed. Sometimes silence was the best reply. My computer pinged with an email notification. The veterinary school admissions office confirming my interview for next week. I'd already been quietly completing prerequisites at night while working full-time. The money from my benefactors wasn't just sitting in an account. It was an investment in my future, one I'd been carefully planning for years. I opened my blinds, looking out at the cityscape as the sun set. Evelyn thought she had won, that she'd crushed my dreams with a few forged signatures and a smug phone call. She had no idea that she'd just walked into a trap of her own making. My benefactor's words echoed in my head. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people think they've beaten you right up until the moment they realize they've beaten themselves. Friday was only 3 days away. I wondered what excuse Evelyn would give the property vendor when the money didn't appear in her account. More importantly, I wondered how she would explain to Dimitri why she tried to steal from his sister. I picked up my phone and texted Ingrid, "Send me everything you've documented. I want to be ready when this all falls apart." Then I turned back to my veterinary school application, a small smile playing at my lips. Evelyn thought she was destroying my dream. Instead, she was about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating the quiet ones in the family. Friday morning arrived with a storm of text messages from Evelyn. "The financial institution says the transfer failed. What did you do? Think you're so clever, don't you? Dimitri is devastated. How could you do this to your own brother?" I sipped my coffee, reviewing the documented evidence Ingrid had sent over. Everything was there. Evelyn's multiple attempts to access the account, the forged signatures, even recordings of her calls to the financial institution where she tried to impersonate me. My phone rang. "Anya, we need to talk." Dimitri's voice was tight with anxiety. "Evelyn says there's some kind of problem with the transfer." "There is," I replied calmly. "Would you like to know what really happened? Or do you want to keep pretending your wife didn't just try to steal my advanced learning fund?" Silence on the other end. "Then, it wasn't stealing. I signed the papers. We're family. Did you actually sign them, Dimitri, or did Evelyn forge your signature after showing you different documents?" More silence. I could almost hear the pieces clicking into place in his mind. "Come over," he said finally. "Please. I need to understand what's going on." An hour later, I sat in their living room, my laptop open to display the evidence. Evelyn paced behind the couch, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floors she'd insisted they install last month. "As you can see," I explained, pulling up the forged documents, "these signatures don't match your usual handwriting, Dimitri. The financial institution's fraud department spotted it immediately. You had no right to move that money," Evelyn burst out. "It was just sitting there while you play pretend about veterinary school. We needed it." I raised an eyebrow. "For what? A 5-bedroom dwelling you can't afford? More designer clothes? Or was it to cover the gambling debts you've been hiding from Dimitri?" Her face went pale. Dimitri turned to stare at her. "What gambling debts?" I pulled up another document, a credit report Ingrid had obtained during our investigation. "Your wife has been busy, Dimitri. 3 maxed-out credit cards, 2 personal loans, and regular withdrawals at the Golden Fortune Casino. Did you wonder why she was so interested in accessing my advanced learning fund?" Evelyn's composure cracked. "You had no right to look into my finances." "Actually, I had every right. You tried to steal my money. Did you really think I wouldn't protect myself? That I wouldn't notice when you started asking questions about my account details?" Dimitri sat heavily on the couch, his face ashen. "Evelyn, is this true? The gambling? It's not what you think," she stammered. "I had a system. I was going to win it all back. The dwelling was going to fix everything. I watched my brother's world crumble around him. Part of me wanted to comfort him, but he needed to see the truth for himself." "How much?" he asked quietly. "What? How much do you owe?" Evelyn's silence was damning. "Over $200,000, I answered for her. That's just what we've been able to trace." Dimitri put his head in his hands. I could see his shoulders shaking. "Get out," he whispered. "Baby, please." Evelyn started. "Get out," Dimitri roared, standing up. "You tried to steal from my sister. You forged my signature. You've been gambling away our savings. Get out." Evelyn grabbed her purse, mascara running down her face. "Fine, but don't think this is over. I'll find a way to fix this." The door slammed behind her. Dmitri collapsed back onto the couch. I'm so sorry, Anya, he whispered. I should have listened when you said something felt off about her. I wanted to believe someone could love me that much, that quickly. I moved to sit beside him, pulling out an envelope from my bag. Here, I said softly. You'll need this. What is it? Contact information for a good separation solicitor Ingrid recommended, and proof that Evelyn has been planning this from the beginning. Dmitri looked through the papers, his face growing harder with each page. Text messages showing Evelyn bragging to friends about marrying into a family with money. Bank statements showing transfers to offshore accounts, casino receipts dating back to before their wedding. She never loved me, did she? He asked, his voice small. No, I replied gently. But that's not a reflection on you. She's a con artist, Dmitri. She's done this before. His head snapped up. What? I pulled out the final document, a police report from 3 years ago. Another marriage, another theft, another devastated family. She disappeared before they could press charges, I explained. Changed her name and moved here, started fresh with a new target. Dmitri was quiet for a long time, processing everything. Finally, he looked at me. The Advanced Learning Fund. It's safe. I nodded. My benefactor taught me well. The money was moved to a secure account weeks ago. Evelyn's transfer attempts were blocked and documented. We have everything we need to press charges. Do it, he said firmly. Press charges. All of it. I'll testify, provide whatever you need. She needs to be stopped. I hugged my brother, feeling him shake with suppressed sobs. I'm sorry, he whispered again. I'm supposed to protect you, not put you in danger. Hey, I pulled back to look at him. You protected me plenty when we were children. Let me protect you this time. My phone buzzed, a text from Ingrid. The authorities were ready to move on our evidence. Evelyn's previous victims had been contacted and were willing to testify. What happens now? Dmitri asked. Now, I replied, we make sure Evelyn can't do this to anyone else. And then I have a veterinary school interview to prepare for. For the first time that day, Dmitri smiled. You're really going to do it? Become a healer? That's what the money was for. That's what our benefactor wanted. He nodded, wiping his eyes. She'd be proud of you, you know. Not just for catching Evelyn, but for never giving up on your dream. I squeezed his hand. She'd be proud of you too, for being brave enough to face the truth. Outside, thunder rumbled as the sky darkened. Somewhere in the metropolis, Evelyn was probably trying to figure out her next move, unaware that her game was finally over. But here, in this moment, something broken was beginning to heal. 2 months later, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, adjusting my white coat. The veterinary school interview had gone perfectly, just as my preparation with the secured funds had allowed. But today wasn't about my future as a healer. Today was about justice. Ready? Dmitri asked from the doorway. He looked better now, the shadows under his eyes finally fading. The separation papers had been filed the day after Evelyn's schemes came to light. Ready, I confirmed, grabbing my bag. The courthouse was packed, but not just with us. 3 other families were there, Evelyn's previous victims. She used different names each time. Evelyn Stone, Evelyn Rivers, Evelyn Ford, but her strategy had always been the same. Quickly locate assets, forge documents, drain accounts. You don't have to do this, I told Dmitri as we took our seats. Ingrid can present the evidence without your testimony. He shook his head. No, I need to face her. We all do. Evelyn was led in by officers, her designer clothes replaced by generic court attire. She'd been apprehended at the airport 3 weeks ago, attempting to flee with a fraudulent passport. The smug smile I remembered from her phone call was gone, replaced by a look of desperate calculation. Her eyes widened when she saw the other families. This wasn't part of her plan. The proceedings moved quickly. Ingrid presented our evidence methodically. The forged signatures, the gambling debts, the pattern of fraud across multiple states. Each family stood to testify, sharing nearly identical stories of trust betrayed and lives nearly ruined. When it was Dmitri's turn, his voice was steady. She made me believe I'd found true love, he said. Instead, I nearly helped her steal my sister's future. The money she tried to take wasn't just cash in an account. It was a benefactor's legacy, a dream of becoming a healer, a future of helping others. Evelyn doesn't just steal money. She steals hope. I squeezed his hand as he returned to his seat. Finally, it was my turn. Unlike Evelyn's other victims, I was fortunate, I began. My benefactor taught me to protect myself, to trust my instincts, to document everything. The money she left me wasn't just for education. It was a lesson in standing up for what's right. Today isn't about revenge. It's about making sure Evelyn can't destroy any more families. The judge's verdict was decisive. Guilty on all counts, 5 years in prison, restitution to all victims, no possibility of early release. You think this changes anything? Evelyn spat as they led her away. You're still just playing at being a healer. You'll fail, and I'll be out before you finish your first year. I smiled, thinking of my benefactor's words about letting people think they've won. Actually, I replied calmly, I start veterinary school next month. Your attempt to steal my dream just motivated me to work harder. So thank you, Evelyn. You taught me that sometimes the best revenge is succeeding despite those who tried to stop you. Outside the courthouse, Dimitri turned to me. I found her ring, he said. The engagement ring I spent 3 months' salary on. It's fake, just like everything else about her. Sell it, I suggested. Use the money to start fresh. He shook his head, pulling out the ring. No, I want you to have it. Sell it and add it to your school fund. Turn one more piece of her lies into something good. That evening, I sat in my office, looking at my benefactor's photo. The acceptance letter from veterinary school lay on my desk, along with the latest statement from my secured education fund. My phone buzzed, a text from Dimitri. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I couldn't see the truth. I smiled, thinking about how different things could have been if I hadn't listened to my benefactor's lessons about protecting myself. Evelyn had thought she was taking advantage of a naive dreamer, too busy studying to notice her schemes. Instead, she'd encountered someone prepared, protected, and unwilling to let anyone steal her future. I picked up my white coat, running my fingers over the embroidered name. Anya Petrova, veterinary student. Sometimes the best victories aren't just about keeping what's yours. They're about showing others that it's never too late to stand up for yourself, to pursue your dreams, to trust your instincts. And as for Evelyn, she had 5 years to think about the fact that the quiet one she'd underestimated was now on her way to becoming Dr. Petrova, while she sat in a cell, her own dreams of easy money finally and permanently out of reach.